there, Tracy here for Trinity Stamps. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this fun card with a magical transformation, including installing some lights. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So when using these, when making this card, I am using the paper cut characters and the Pretty Party Princess add-on die set. So adorable. And then I'll also be using the Bathing Beauty add-on die set just for one little piece. So don't forget to combine your stuff because there's a ton of it. Papercrafting Magic, Dust Bunny stamp set and coordinating die. And then we've got our Party Alphabet die set. And one that I left off that I forgot to add was the... And also I used a sentiment from the What's Up stamp set. So we're going to start out by making our glittery dress. And I've got 3 colors of Simon Hurley, Prom Queen, Shooting Star, and Clear Skies. And that's kind of what I use for kind of an iridescent look when I want one. So I go very lightly with them. Notice I'm tapping off. I don't want it super heavy. And then I'm going to take some double-sided sticky tape, and I have this big old roll, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the whole piece of card. So this is a regular size card, A2 card base, and I want the glitter on all of it. So I'm going to burnish that down, and then I'm going to peel off the backer piece here, and that's going to expose the sticky. And I'm going to coat that in the Distress glitter, Clear Rock Candy glitter. And then I'm going to go ahead and burnish this down. And notice I have this pretty well sped up, and that's because it's a very long video, and I apologize for that, but there's a lot going on here. So I'm going to start out by cutting out the dress, and this dress is from the original Paper Cut Characters die set. I'm going to be cutting that out 3 times. And the reason for that is I want to make a long dress. So I'm going to cut the first dress, and then I'll go ahead and cut the rest of it. And I'm going to do a 3-tiered dress so you can see how I'm only grabbing the skirt part of the dress for the rest of it. And we'll be using most of this glitter paper. So there's no waste really here. We'll go ahead and pull this off, and then I'm going to do the 3rd layer, and I'm going to also grab the sleeves, and then I'm going to grab the ribbon or the bow and the sash and the shoes from the Pretty Party Princess add-on die set. Say that 9 times fast. Say it twice. Say it once fast. And go ahead and cut out as many things as I can, and I'm doing the sleeves there kind of in the same pink as the top of the dress so that they kind of, you know, mesh together. So we'll get those cut out. And here's our sleeves. So yeah, the sleeves are also from the dress set of the Pretty Party Princess add-on die set. I said it, yay. And we'll finally complete this. I'll do a second sash, and I'll do the shoes, and I'm also going to do some gloves. So the shoes I did in white so they'd be kind of like a glass slipper. And, you know, pull the whole thing together. So I'm going to grab the paper cut character from the original set because I want the arms off of it. And I could, you know, move things around and spare myself some paper, but I can't be asked to do all that. So I'm just going to cut out the whole thing, you know. As long as I get the parts I need, I'm golden. So you see I took that bow and sash again because I needed the extra sash for around the dress. So I want one around her head and one around her dress. Okay, we've got all our parts for our outfit. Now let's do our hair. So the hair is in the original Paper Cut Characters, and it comes with all 4 of those pieces on the same die, and I'm cutting them all out, and I'm going to use them all because she's going to have a fancy updo. And I'm going to be using here just my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend marker to create the hair. And look, I'm not a colorist by any means. I'm working on it, but I'm just kind of doing some random just coloring so it kind of looks like curls, and then just adding color to the back part of the hairpiece, which you're not going to see much of, but I still want to color it all just in case. So I'm just going to kind of color around the dark spots that I made and leave the edge kind of light. And then I'll come in with the lightest tan. And this is just this is the golden brown color, I think it is, the golden brown set. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more dimension to the hair, because I don't necessarily want it to be blonde hair, but more of a, you know, I don't know, golden hair. And then I'm just going to make little kind of crookedy C's all throughout this to add just a little bit more texture to that hair for her fancy little updo. Okay, and then just some more lines here in the bangs, just to darken up that hair a bit. And then I'm going to come in with the lightest color and just fill them in a little bit more to just kind of help blend it out. And I did use some very super smooth paper for that. All right, let's move her hair aside and get to work on her body. Then we'll get her put together. So the body, again, is from the original paper cut characters, and I'm going to be coloring this with my Simon Hurley cookie dough ink. I have to tell you how much I absolutely adore these paper cut characters and the add-ons. There are so many cool things we're going to be able to do with these. It's just mind-blowing, okay? I'm a huge fan, or was, and still am, of paper dolls and Barbies and anything you could dress or tell a story about. I love telling a story in my cards. So I'm just checking my fit of my dress, and I'm going to go ahead and lay my dress down onto the body. And let me get you zoomed in here a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I only put glue on the top portion of the dress because I'm going to be sticking some things underneath there. I'm going to start with the dress here, and then I'm going to add a little sash around the waist to kind of make it sort of like an empire waistline. And what I like about these characters particularly is that they don't have faces or any specific body shapes. You can just go anywhere with them. So I'm going to add the arms, but before I add them, I need to add the sparkly gloves. So there's the arms I cut out of the sparkly paper, and I'm just going to glue them down directly over top of the arms. And do I cut them perfect? Nope. And they don't need to be perfect. Do my gloves stay up? Nope. Do yours? As if, I don't know, it's been so many years since I wore those kind of gloves. I think back since Rainbow Girls. And I'm not even going to say how many million years that is, but a long time ago. So I'm going to go ahead and stick the arms down, and I want them to be kind of down at her waist. So she's kind of got a demure, hands crossed in front of her pose. I'm going to kind of hold these down too because we are working on glitter paper. So then I can add her sleeves because the sleeves are going to cover up the arm part. And we've got some nice princess puffy sleeves going on here to match the top portion of her dress. Just move her over a little bit here. Get that glued down. All right, so far so good. That's cute like it is so far, but, you know, we're going to kick it up a notch. Let's put some legs on her. And I'll show you later in the video another way to put legs on. Because these don't always have to be standing up. Now, they don't have bending knees to be sitting where it would show, but there are ways that you can make that happen. So keep an eye out for future videos and cards. So I'm glad, and gluing that second tier, and then I'll glue in the third tier. So I'm just adding glue kind of to the top part of the dress, and then gluing these tiers on until they reach basically her feet. And we'll go ahead and glue the head down to the neck. And let's make sure we don't give her too short of a neck. There we go. Let's give her a little bit of neck. There we go. And then we'll get started on the hair. So this is going to be the backmost hair, and you can see that I am not gluing it to the back of the head so much as the back of the neck, because I want the long hair. And this is the curly hair hair that's kind of her updo, and that's also going to go to the back of her head. And it's not going to go on perfectly straight, but fairly straight. And then we're going to glue the next part of her hairpiece on the front of her face, and then finally add her little bangs. So she's got herself a fancy little updo. Because who doesn't love an updo, you know, when you're going formal? And like I said, it's been a long time since I've done anything formal. All right, so then I'm just going to add this little bow because I don't have a tiara. I mean, if you look through your stash, there's probably a tiara somewhere. You just have to find it, but I'm going to use what I have in these paper cut character sets. And there's our little fairy princess, kind of a Cinderella type princess. She's got her glass slippers on. We're going to put her aside, and now we're going to make her before she meets up with her fairy godmother. So I'm just going to take the straight hair this time. And I'm going to color the hair basically the same. So, you know, it's a consistent character. I just love telling a story with a card. It's so much fun. And the Trinity Stamps has so many stamps and dies to choose from. You can mix and match and be busy for years to come. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give a sort of a shiny bang feel, and then just kind of fill this in a little bit more, and that's going to be it for her hair. And for her body, now I'm going to color it exactly the same way, only I'm going to dirty it up because, you know, she's doing a dirty job. And so I'll be using my cookie dough ink and just filling those pieces in again. And then I'll be using, to make her clothing, I will be cutting the t-shirt from the kind of the, not the short sleeve t-shirt in the paper cut character set, but the longer sleeved one. And the kind of dress from the paper cut characters, and then the sort of pinafore from the Pretty Party Princess add-on die set. So see here, I'm just taking some vintage photo ink and getting her dirty, because she needs to be dirty. Okay, let's go ahead and put this girl together. So here I've got the t-shirt part, and it's out of black. Just I cut it out of some black cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And I will be trimming it up to the waistline on the original portion, just because the dress itself doesn't go beyond that, so that sticks out a little, so I don't want it sticking out. So I'm just going to trim it off. I've got a little white showing there, so now I'm just going to trim off a little bit of that white. None of that's going to show now that I've got it trimmed down. And here's the pinafore portion. And that is the little part of the dress from the Pretty Party Princess add-on. And I have it trimmed down a little bit. Now, you're not going to see the top part of that because that's going to be covered with the regular paper cut characters dress. And that just looks like a whole little pinafore apron kind of situation. And I'll go ahead and glue her head on. And I'm going to glue her arms down. I'm going to have one arm on the outside and one arm on the inside. And the outside arm, or the one that's in front of her, is going to be holding the little chicken from the Dust Bunny set, because why not? She's got to have some sort of cleaning supply, so you have an understanding of what she's doing here on the front of the card. So the front of the card, this card, is there's a surprise inside. So now I've got her little legs here, and I'm just going to cross them over each other. And I notice once I go to lay her down on there that they're not crossed properly. They look weird. So I'm looking at that going, nope, something's wrong with those legs. And so I'm just going to pick them up and uncross them. And so this is a way that you can have a character kneeling down, because basically all you're going to see is her feet sticking out. Like she's kneeling on the floor because she's, you know, dusting the fireplace or whatever. And I'm going to put the hair a little bit higher on this one because you're not going to see it really. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the bangs part on. And then I have this little piece from the Bathing Beauty add-on die set. And I'm just going to use that as kind of like a headband. Because in the original Cinderella, she's wearing something on her head. It's more like a bandana, but I don't have a bandana, so we're doing this. And there's our little chicken. I just couldn't help myself because that is the cutest little duster ever. In hindsight, I probably could have got him dirty. So now I'm going to take some cardstock, and I'm going to cut it down to 5.5 by 4.5, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces. And the reason for that is I need to make a gusset. So I'm going to take, and notice I like to turn my scoreboard upside down, because otherwise I can't get my scores straight. And I'm scoring each of those at 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish them. And I'm just going to take some red tape and tape along this edge here. And this is 1/4 inch tape, and this is a 1/4 inch, but I don't want it hanging over one side, so I've got it hanging over the outside here, and then I can just curl that in with my fingers. So see here where it's sticking out, just curl it in. And then I'm going to take this other piece, and I'm going to add some liquid glue so I have a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down so that now we've got an A2 card with a gusset. And here's a background that I did. This is just some ink blending with a little bit of stenciling. And I'm going to go ahead and glue her down first. And then I've got here my sparkle spots. And I'm going to be using those as part of the lights and part of the background decoration. So I'm going to decide where I want my lights. And I'm just going to take my the pokey part of my stick tool and poke holes, and I'm going to use the largest sparkle spots to kind of cover up those holes. And then I'm just going to add random different size sparkle spots throughout, and I'll be adding a couple of other embellishment types as well, because I want this to be a really cool inside. Whoops, you saw that, right? I'm so glad that wasn't glitter. I had that happen to me today. I opened up a bag of embellishment that had small glitter, and it just flew everywhere. And I'm just circling the back just kind of as a guideline so I can see. And then I've got my twinkle lights, so I'm going to install my battery. And then I'm just going to lay my lights down so that the light portion is shining through that hole. And just tape those wires down. These could not be easier. And once I've got those taped down, I need to go ahead and just kind of get some of those other wires taped down. I'm going to test it, make sure I have my lights where I want them. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of, I don't know what these are called, they're sticky spot thingies. And I'm just going to stick that down. And I'm going to make sure I stick it down so that I can get my foam tape all the way around. Just make a little mark where we need to press, because I'm going to be cutting out a press sentiment. And then I'm going to go ahead and just take my foam tape and just tape it all the way around the card, and then just a little bit to the inside. Super easy. Just get that trimmed off. And I love that this is also repositionable. So I'm just adding some extra pieces on the inside here just to kind of support the card, the inside of the card. And I'm good with that. It's pretty. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and stick that down to the inside of my card. There we go. Perfect. I'm super happy with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my other sentiments here. And I'll list everything I use down below, because that went by so fast I couldn't see what it was. I do have this sped up quite a bit because this was an ultra long video. So just keep in mind, if you're going to do a detail card like this, it's going to take you some time. Enjoy it. It's fun. So we're finished with those, and now I'm going to go ahead and do some little stars because, you know, why not? Let's really go all the way on this thing. And I'll just lay down random sizes of stars here until I'm happy with the inside, and then we'll get to work on the outside of the card. All right, there's the beautiful inside. Let's do the outside. So I've got a piece here of my Bristol Smooth, and it's probably about 6 inches by 4.5. And what I did was I took my cookie dough ink and I made kind of a spotlight, and then I'm going to come around the outside edge with my Weeping Willow. And then I'll come back in with my cookie dough to kind of blend out that edge. And I am using my blending buddy, so this does make a nice smooth blend. And I notice I've got a wrinkle there on my paper, and I'm not mad. I actually like that. It kind of lends to the impact of the effects of the kind of dirty atmosphere that poor Cindy has to work in. So we're going to come around with a little bit more of that ink just to kind of darken the edges. And then I want to take and just make a line here so that I have kind of a horizon, a place for her to sit. And I'm going to sit her down on that and make sure she's spotlighted. And then I'm going to take these party letters here, and I'm going to do the word chin up. And I'm just using the inside of the letters. These do have shadow layers. Super cool. You can make, any word you want, and this is what I love about them. And they're not too humongous. So I've got chin up cut out. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down just one by one. And I'm just tapping off the excess glue on my hand because we all know that excess glue on your card, especially if it's been ink blended with a water-soluble ink, you can end up with some funky edges. So I want to make sure that I'm not having any ink oozing out of those little letters. You can use double-sided tape and create stickers if you want to, but I didn't do that in this case. And then we'll just add the little tittle to the exclamation point. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the front of the card, edge to edge. And all we have to do is our sentiments here. So I've got the what's up, and your future ahead is bright, or some word like that. I can't remember, but you'll see when I get done stamping it. And then I've also got a push, and I've got surprise inside. And I'm going to stamp those in all different colors. That's why I have them kind of separately, quite a ways apart. And I'm going to do your future is bright in kind of a purple. And then I'll do the push in kind of a blue. And then I'm going to do the surprise inside in brown, because that's going to go on the outside of the card. And I'll go ahead and trim these down with my trimmer. And then we're almost done with this card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I apologize for the length of it. Typically, I don't do such a long video, but I really wanted to make sure that you saw all the details here. The only thing that I didn't really show you was the ink blending of the background of the inside, which was just a simple couple of shades of blue, and then I used that Swiss cheese stencil to make the bouquet effect. All the big circles with just with the Distress Picket Fence ink and a brush. So I'm going to glue the surprise inside right here. And then your future is bright. I decided I didn't want that on my princess because it just took away from her beauty. So there's the card. I hope you like it. And there's the light up element of it. Let's turn off some lights and see if you can see that light up better. And thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.